This is episode number 54 of the Inland Empire Workers' Compensation Lawyer Livestream podcast. My name is Attorney Alexander Napolin. I'm joined by my co-host, Attorney George Abuado. And on this episode, we're discussing why you can't get a workers' compensation lawyer to take your case. I think George has some insights. We were discussing this before we started rolling. And take it away.
Yeah, no. So this is a topic that's been popping up here recently with several different potential new clients, PNCs that we call them. We've had calls come into the office, and after speaking with them, we end up not taking their claim, okay? And these people are very, very confused as to why all the attorneys they've talked to won't take their claim. They don't understand why. And so I thought it'd be a good topic today for us to discuss what some of those reasons are why an attorney might not take your claim. You have a claim, you were injured at work, you feel that it's a viable claim, it's a good claim, and you don't understand why people don't want to help you. There could be so many reasons why this is happening, but we're going to touch on a couple of these. Maybe this is your situation. If it's not, and you still don't understand why people aren't taking your claim, you can always give us a call at our Injury Helpline, which is
844-984-8414, because you might have a good case.
Yeah.
And you might have just spoken to one or two lawyers and they just weren't interested because they were busy or whatnot. And maybe you need to call us and get a real case evaluation. Right. But we're also going to discuss some of the reasons why you might be calling everywhere and you might not be getting any lawyer to help you out.
Yeah, so maybe you've made several calls. You've looked on Yelp or you've gotten several recommendations, and the attorneys you've spoken to are just not willing to take your claim. Well, what I would ask a person that's going through this situation is, what is the reason that these attorneys are giving you? Are they all giving you the same reason? Are they giving you different reasons? Or are you not even getting a reason? Maybe you're not asking the right questions. What I suggest to these people, first of all, when they're speaking to attorneys, and this is not just in this situation, pretty much any attorney you speak to, you have attorney-client privilege even through your consultation, okay? They can't talk about what you guys talked about, so be very, very honest with your workers' compensation attorney and any attorney you speak to. An attorney can only do as much as you let him do, and by that, I mean if you're not honest with your attorney, if you don't do your part in your claim, if you don't work together with the office staff and your attorney, then it's not going to be a successful claim. Now, if you haven't gotten an answer as to why attorneys aren't taking your claim, ask. The next one you speak to, ask, do you mind if I ask you why you're not going to be taking me on as a client? And, you know, most of the attorneys I know are very straightforward and honest, and they will let you know. A lot of times, Alex, someone might come to me because they were referred to a friend. Maybe a family member or a friend of theirs was a past client of mine, and they were very happy with my services. So they might recommend me to their loved ones. And this person might have had an attorney for 2 years, and now their friend recommends me to them, and they come in and they want me to take on their claim. This could be a possibility. I might choose to do so. But sometimes the reason I will not take on a claim that's 2 years old, and you have to understand this, is because I am taking and inheriting the whole claim. This is a 2-year-old claim that another attorney worked on for 2 years. I don't know what was done and what was not done on it. You know, a lot of attorneys have a different way of working, and maybe I would have handled the case differently. This is a case that I'm going to have to take over and do what I can with what I've got. And sometimes that's just, it's not worth it. It's not worth it, and you don't want to take on that responsibility.
Or maybe you don't want to split the attorney fee either, because it's the way you might have a lot of work to do if things weren't done right. Right. And there might be a lot of conundrums that the client's facing, and that's why they're looking for a new lawyer. But then also, you're going to have to pay the other lawyer maybe the lion's share of the attorney's fees. And in workers' comp, we work on a 15% contingency fee, which is less than half of what a personal injury lawyer works on. Right. And that's not very much money, and we have to put our time and our blood, sweat, and tears into these claims. And if you've had a lawyer for a long time, it may be that the lawyer you're looking at just doesn't have the resources to invest in that claim, right, because of everything that's happened in the claim and the splitting of the attorney's fees. And that's something that I look at in my practice. Right. And I do take cases that have prior lawyers on them. I have quite a few, but I can only take on so many. So maybe it's nothing wrong with your claim. It's just that the lawyer just doesn't have the time to do that at the moment.
That's right. And let's talk about the fee split since you brought it up. Okay. In workers' compensation, You've heard all the, if we don't get you any money, you don't pay anything, right? But also you have to understand, it doesn't matter if you have one attorney or if you switch attorneys 20 times. If you've had 100 attorneys, you're never going to pay more in workers' compensation than 15%. That 15% is split up by all the attorneys that have worked the claim, just so you understand very well. So let's do a quick example. Let's say that your claim has been worked on for 3 years. You've had a total of 5 attorneys, and your claim gets settled for $50,000. 15% of $50,000 is $7,500. That $7,500 is going to be split by the 5 attorneys that have worked that claim. You're not going to pay anything extra out of your pocket, so that's good news for you. But those attorneys that have worked that claim have to fight and fight each other, go to court, and work hard just to get paid out of that 15%. So sometimes maybe you had one attorney and you didn't feel comfortable, and so you switched to a second attorney, and then you found out that attorney, well, this has happened. That attorney might have gone to jail, and you have to switch to a third one, and now you have had 3 attorneys, and that third attorney just isn't doing anything on your claim. It's been months, and nothing has been worked on. Now you want to find a 4th attorney. Understand that 4th attorney is going to be very, very hesitant to take your claim because now there's 3 prior attorneys on that claim that they're going to have to fight over the 15%.
So if you're out there and you're choosing a lawyer, be very careful about who you choose.
Yes.
That's number 1.
Yes.
And if you do decide to change lawyers, do it early.
Right.
Because don't wait around too long, because as you go through your claim, things are happening, time is accruing with that lawyer. And number 3, well, if you're looking for a lawyer and you've already had 3 lawyers, that might be a reason why the lawyer is saying no.
Yeah.
Which is the topic of today's episode.
Yeah, and another thing that it's going to help you out in life is to understand that not everything is for everyone, okay? Not everyone's going to like you in life. That's just a given, right? Not everybody loves peaches. Not everybody loves Coke, but there's a lot of people that do. So what I want to say by that is, if you're not comfortable with your attorney, even though they're the best attorney in the world, you have to be comfortable with your attorney. They are your partner in this fight, and you're on the same team. So pick an attorney that you're most comfortable with. Interview a couple before you settle down on one, and make sure you're comfortable with that attorney. They have a proven track record so that you don't have to switch attorneys.
So let's say you don't have a lawyer, you're looking for a lawyer.
Right.
So that's not your situation. What's a reason why someone might be getting turned down by other lawyers? A common one that you can come up with, that you come across.
Well, not every lawyer is alike. Some lawyers, and this can happen in any type of law, but some lawyers only take the huge cases, right? So you could very well be hurt at work, but they only want those cases where someone was maybe died at work. So now they're representing the family.
Catastrophic case.
Catastrophic claims where you cut off an arm or 2 arms, or both of your legs were amputated, or you had a traumatic brain injury, a TBI. So some attorneys only handle those because they've been in the game for so long that people know that they're the experts in that, and they go to them directly. So they don't want to, for lack of a better word, bother with the smaller claims. Even though they're extremely viable, even though people need help, they'd rather concentrate their efforts with the larger claims, and they won't take any smaller claims. Now, that's not to say that good attorneys don't take smaller claims. I take smaller claims all the time, but sometimes there are those particular attorneys, and I'm sure you know who they are, Alex. They only take those huge, huge claims, and they don't want to talk about anything smaller than a catastrophic injury.
It has to do not necessarily with the level of lawyering, but just with the way they have their practice set up.
Right.
So they might not take on too many files. So they're being very picky and choosy about who they're going to help, and they have less cases. And those cases are more involved because they're big catastrophic cases. So their firms may be more set up to handle, multiple specialties and things like that.
Right. All right.
But that's not necessarily the case that we can't do that.
No, not at all.
It's just that they only work part-time. They're not working full-time. So they're being super picky about what they'll take. And that's just the way they structure their life.
Right. And I've known a lot of attorneys that the older they get, the more they downsize. They downsize their firm, they downsize their employees, their overhead.
Older lawyers.
So they want to, just take the claims that they really, really believe in, and they really, really want to get money out of for themselves and for their client. Nothing wrong with that, but that might be a reason why your claim might have gotten turned down.
They call the younger lawyer, more energy, working more hours, willing to go that extra mile for you, like George and myself. That's what we're here for. So if you're getting turned down by an attorney, it might be because they're being very picky about what they're going to take. They're an older attorney. You don't want the older lawyer. You want to dial the Injury Helpline. It's 844-984-8414. Get a free consultation. We'll help you out.
Yeah.
Well, at least give you guidance on why the lawyer's not taking your case.
Right.
Which is the topic of this episode. It's general information only. If you want a more specific explanation, you got to talk, like George said, you got to ask that lawyer, why aren't you taking it? They might not give you a reason. That's maybe why you're watching this video.
Alex, another reason could be that there could be issues with the claim that they don't want to deal with. Once again, it's their prerogative. It's your prerogative to choose the attorney and to choose them for whatever reason you feel comfortable or you like them. And it's their prerogative to also choose the cases that they want to work on. One thing that happens a lot, Alex, is post-termination. People are scared to report an injury or file a claim while they're working. Now they've been laid off. Maybe it's a day or two, maybe it's a month, and they had been feeling pain at work, but now they want to do something about it because they no longer have a job. So there's no longer that fear of losing your job that you don't have. So some attorneys don't want to take what's called a post-termination claim because automatically, and we've discussed this in prior videos, you're going to receive a denial. Check out our video of what to do when you receive a denial. But some attorneys just don't want to deal with that. They don't want to deal with the denial. They want to deal with people that are still working, that have reported an injury, and that's their criteria for taking on claims. Once again, not knocking them. That's the way they choose to run their practice. But here, if you have been injured at work, even if you've been fired or you've been let go, I myself like to take those, Alex. I like to fight for those, and I still think that there's value in that, and we could definitely get benefits for you, medical treatment, and compensation. So I will take on those cases, but some attorneys might not. You maybe were injured at work, but mistakenly listened to your employer and went to the doctor on your own, and your employer told you, hey, tell them you were injured at home. I'll take care of everything for you. I think we've discussed this before as well, Alex.
We'll put a link to that episode where we discuss that.
Yeah.
Up in the corner.
So now there's a medical report stating that your injury is not work-related. It's specifically saying that. Well, that's a huge hurdle to overcome.
It is.
Understandably, it was a mistake that was made because you trusted your employer, but some attorneys just don't want to deal with that because now the person bringing that claim forward looks like they're not telling the truth.
It looks like it could be a fraudulent claim.
Right.
It could be a big red flag for the insurance carrier, and the lawyer just doesn't want to deal with that. So if that's your situation, you might not get a lawyer to take your case.
Yeah. So I guess what I want to bring across to our viewers, Alex, is there's a lot of reasons why an attorney might not take your claim on, okay? But there are certain things that most attorneys look at when evaluating a claim, right, Alex? I mean, there's just these general things that we do look at to see if we want to, file a claim.
You got to be an employee. You got to be able to prove that you're an employee and that there's insurance available, which is what we've discussed this on a previous episode. Are you entitled to workers' comp? If you're an independent contractor, even if you're mislabeled as an independent contractor, there's no insurance. Lawyer has no insurance to collect from. The likelihood that you're ever going to collect from that employer is extremely low. So lawyer doesn't want to waste their time with it. Maybe you shouldn't waste your time either.
Yeah. So we have to make sure that you qualify for these benefits, right? One thing being you have to be an employee, like we discussed before. And then, like Alex mentioned, is there somewhere to draw benefits from? Is there an insurance company? Now, we did talk about UEBTF, Uninsured Benefits Fund. There could be a different route. But once again, some attorneys don't want to do this because this route takes a long, long time. I'm not talking about 6 months. I'm not talking about a year.
I'm talking about like 6 years.
6 years to see anything, if anything at all.
Yeah.
Once again, every case is different. I'm not saying that you won't see anything, but what I'm saying is that UEBTF road is a long and winding one. A lot of attorneys are not excited about those claims, okay? I'm not saying that there isn't an attorney out there for you. I encourage you to go out there and look for an attorney that will take your claim if your employer had no insurance, but a lot of attorneys don't want to take that on.
Now, it may be that you're just not getting a call back from that attorney's office or several attorneys' offices because you happen to call very busy lawyers and they're not calling you back right away. So you're going online, you're looking around, you're finding this episode, you're listening to what we're having to say, but none of these really apply to you. Well, dial the Injury Helpline. It's 844-984-8414. We'll give you a free consultation. We'll give you that legal advice that you need. to decide what to do next. I think that concludes episode number 54. It's been good talking with you, George.
Always.
Anything else you want to add?
No, just we'll be here again, bringing you the best topics and the best information for you and your loved ones when you go through this difficult time.